Yeah, just when I thought I was done, I just have to show you this one because this has conservation value. That little thing there is a citrus relative, which is Micromilum minutum, which is a host for butterflies. There's a lot of species of butterflies that live on Rutaceae, which is the citrus family. And this little guy here, it's a low strata shrub that's very important for a number of butterflies. And so that's just come up by itself from little bird dispersed seeds. And so that's really important to have around the garden for the conservation of butterflies. We don't mind a few butterflies on our citrus. They don't eat much. And if they're causing trouble when the citrus is young, we'll knock them off, or we'll spray some sort of a herbal spray on them to make them go away for a while until the tree gets bigger, and then it's fine. The tree can handle it. It can actually be a benefit if it's a dry period and some of the leaves get eaten. There's a lot of species, a lot of insect species that live on these. Almost all these species here are native to this area. There's a few that aren't, like the Inca nut and a few of the fruit trees and the Gliricidia, but almost everything else is from the forest or has been in this area for a very long time in the people's gardens. But they just didn't know how to. Well, see, they know how to make fences, but they always use dead wood. All right, so we've had to use dead wood, and it's a lot of work, and it extracts something from the forest which decays faster than it regrows. But we have to do it here to keep the goats in, because the goats are going to give us all the fertilizer that we need. So that way it means we're not buying it from outside. But for gardens, the living fences, they need a little bit of work, but all you have to do is just keep on replacing them, like filling the gaps. You just do it like twice a year. You go around and you prune, chop the tops off those, which gives you new stakes in order to fill the holes in the fence. And then it gives you a whole lot of mulch, which you can use in the garden. So people here were not building living fences before we started this project, and I'm starting to see evidence of people using them, but I feel like I need to come back here and talk to them directly and give them a bit of a tour up here, because we've just been busy making the example, but I think now it's time to promote the example. So here's a little patch where things have died. It's not completely. See, this Premna is still fine. So that's going to hold the cross rails, which we can either use split wood or poles or bamboo. I quite like the bamboo, and that's why I brought the bamboo here. And these, see this dead soldier? He's just going to break down and feed the row. But then, this is a candidate here where you can see Butler just has put in the Pacific rosewood, Kaolengua. He stuck that in to fill the gap. Over here he's put in some chaya and some Mexican sunflower. And then there's little seedlings coming up in there. So they're kind of self-repairing, and they provide for their own repair. Bit of passion fruit. We're starting to get some fruits on the passion fruit, but we do have a bit of a problem with some insects eating the leaves. But there we go, look at those flowers. So it's not a huge deal. I think they'll do better once they start getting some goat manure. See this passion fruit? It's, it gets affected by the insects, but it outgrows them.